What are some of the other problems that you see with modern
Well,
tech privacy?
there's we see this happen a lot where somebody online makes a salacious comment, or it had happened a lot. Thankfully, this isn't happening as much anymore. I think that the trend for this has sort of died down a little bit, but doxing was basically an epidemic for a while. It was like you say anything bad online at all, or anything that somebody else considers bad online at all,
Hmm.
and if you piss off enough people, they could share your personal information. They could find photos of you on the internet. They could find your address. They could find your phone number. They could find your email address. They could find pictures of your children. Like for some, I know it got really, really bad. And that is more on a personal privacy basis. It's not my business where a Supreme Court justice lives. Not my business. Well, everybody knows that the president lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue
Kind of know that,
in
yeah.
Washington,
But
D.C., but that's, he's the president of the United States. That's like everybody, that's like it being public information, the street address of the Capitol building and the Supreme Court building.
hmm
Because the White House is not so much about the private residence as it is about the Oval Office. But no, I think doxing had gotten really bad, and I know earlier this year, this is sort of old news, but it bears mentioning. So there was this app specifically for women, so it's about to get good. It's like this is an app that's specifically for women. I think it was just called tea or something like that, like spilling
oh
the tea.
no, yeah, that's what they call it now. It's like enjoying the tea,
Basically,
is spilling the tea. Yeah, it's
basically the entire point of this app was for women to have the app and take pictures of guys they were on a date with and share it, and then for other women to just tear the guy apart. Like guys were actually actively getting doxxed. Like women were doxing guys they were going out on dates with.
goodness sakes.
And it's like, this is this guy, this is where we were at, this is where he lives. And there was a lot of stuff that was sort of benign stupidity of how they were reacting. Like, oh, he was wearing a green hat. That's a bad sign. Why is that a bad sign? Maybe he just likes John Deere. I don't. But alternatively, there was a sort of a poetic form of a poetic justice when a hacker went in and then hacked the site and then leaked all the information of all of the women that were using it. And they're like, basically, like, guys, avoid all of these women because they're using this app and they're going to destroy you. They're going to try to destroy your lives. Which, while at least of dubious morality, that type of doxing is at least a social good. Like, there was a swingers website that got hacked, and then all of its user information was leaked to the public. Or, like, the KKK's membership roster was leaked to the public at one point. And, like, yeah, if what you're doing is bad enough, I can see everybody knowing about that kind of being a good thing. But even then, there's still it is a matter of your own soul. Like, your soul ultimately is your business alone. The state of your soul is your business and nobody else's. Like, the state of my soul is purely my business, not even really my wife's. And she and I are one. Now, it is right for me to tell her when I've done something horribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I may be advised to do that. And it is never the wrong thing to tell her when I've done something horribly wrong. But ultimately, if I don't, it's also not necessarily the worst thing to not. Because sometimes not knowing something is better than knowing it. Not
Yeah.
You don't need to know everything that's happening with everybody, which is kind of what we've already talked about. But this goes back to conspiracy theories, which I'm at this point just waging war against, I guess, because there are so many ways of bringing it up, and there's just a lot of different ways that just like conspiracy theories is being mentioned, but so many of them revolve around specific individuals. Of like, oh, well, he can't really be trusted, or oh, he's not who he says he is, or oh, she's not who she says she is. Is that your business? But yes, with public figures, there is a certain amount of things that, if you're a public figure, something that is publicly known should be publicly addressed.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you're a public figure, what you do in your own private life, because that is your own personal private life, is yours. So when a public figure tells you something about himself, just believe him. The Vice President of the United States tells you that he has Scots-Irish ancestry. Believe him. Don't go digging into his family history to find, like, oh, he's not really Scots-Irish. Like, no, I'd rather just believe him. Because for one thing, there's a lot of people who have a lot of motivations to lie to ruin the reputation of the Vice President of the United States.
Yep.
That is also a thing. Like,
and even if you're telling...
Not my business whether or not the First Lady of France is actually a man. It's not my business, but I'm still just willing to go, all right, I'm willing to say she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to believe that. Like, I know the French are weird. The French have been weird since the late 1700s, since the French Revolution. They've been weird for a long time, but
even the
not my
truth
business.
of it, the truth of it largely doesn't matter, And what I mean
not
by
really.
What I mean by that is, like, say that Vance said something on some, say that Vance made some ill-advised comment about whoever, some individual. That should not be made public.
Yeah.
There's literally no reason to make it public.
Yeah, particularly if it was just to another individual. Or like more recently, there was that Young Republicans group text in New York. Politico went viral publishing an article about, in some young Republicans group text, or just a private text conversation, one of the conversants said, like, oh yeah, I like Hitler, or something like that, probably as a joke, because this is young Republicans, this is all guys who are under the age of 25. They say things that they probably shouldn't. Every guy under the age of 25 has said things that he probably regrets when he's over the age of 25.
Mm-hmm.
Or he will look back on and say, yeah, that was really stupid of me.
Yeah. The policies that they're
dumb.
implementing, the policies that they're trying to implement are things you can actually look at.
Yes,
Not
by your
random
fruits you
stuff
shall
like this.
judge them, not like what they say in a random text where you're probably just trying to be cheeky and edgy and impress your friends.
Mm-hmm. You should give people the grace that they're due. So,
yeah, so that should not have been leaked. It should not have been told to anybody. So there is more wrong with the people that made a big deal about it than with the person who actually said it. Should he have said it? Probably not. It's a dumb thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worse when it's a private conversation to then go and bring it to a news organization and say, see, this guy said this one thing. Particularly because this is young politicians who are actively stabbing each other in the back on a regular basis. So,
your reputation is one of your most valuable possessions, and even if you do something wrong, that does not give someone else the license to ruin it. So, but yeah, people's privacy ought to be respected, and if listening to this, you question any of those you question any example that we've said or that you can think of, like, oh, but this actually makes sense. Just imagine the shoe being on the other foot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the perfect way of assessing the morality of it, but it'll help.
It will at least be like the right step if you're thinking about doing it to somebody else and that makes you uncomfortable, probably shouldn't allow it to be done to yourself.